module 1, we'll start by module. So module 1, right? Big picture in a box. Kind of like this buttermilk ranch. Sponsored? Not sponsored. Anyway, so people who live by the Nile River had to figure out a way to get water from the Nile to their crops, because the water was just in the Nile, and it was, it wasn't going to go there by itself, aside from flooding, but that wasn't entirely helpful either, except for like the times when it did flood and it made the soil more fertile, which was helpful. But I'd say working around problems is very important. It relates to, like I want to relate it politically to our political climate, because it seems now that instead of working towards a goal and a fix for our problems, unlike the ancient Mesopotamians, we just like bicker and bicker and bicker, and like nothing ever gets done. I learned that from also taking political sciences course as well as humanities. There's a lot of just back and forth bickering instead of trying to be more like the ancient Mesopotamians, where we figure out a solution and work together. One thing that the Mesopotamians did not do well, that I believe we do well, is keeping themselves unguarded. I know that there were one or several empires that fell because they were unguarded, as opposed to like being guarded, and a lot of that was due to war and losing so many people, and like the Sumerians were spread thin due to famine and all of that sort of thing, which left them kind of stretched thin. It's kind of like a taffy. If you take taffy, it's like this big, and that's that big. It's only a little thick instead of very thick. So that they could have done better, but it's also not really their fault that they had famine. Something that we could learn from that is making sure we help other countries out, like or like the whole situation in Flint, Michigan, and how long it took that to get resolved, and how it's still not fully resolved. Is we need to help out our people, or people surrounding us, keep a good environment when it comes to like making sure everybody's good, because when you help out other people and people help out you, it leads to less war, probably. So that's module 1. I'll see you in a minute. Module 2. Change my hairstyle so it seems like more time has passed than actually has passed. Anyway, my absolute favorite PowerPoint I did, which technically is the only one I did on time, I apologize, I think, yeah. Was the module 2 PowerPoint. I'm a musician, so I am in love with the arts, and like during classical China, they had the most beautiful art, and not only physical art, but I believe like the art of being in touch with themselves, spiritually and emotionally, and connecting to their inner selves, and like beautiful work on their end. Something they did really well that they later did not do very well is they were very unified. Oh, it is 59 degrees. It was very unified, which I think was amazing, because it not only made them as a country stronger, it made them as people stronger as well, because it really gives that sense of community, at least from my interpretation. That's what I found it as, is that there was a sense of community and connectedness between the people and their emperors. I was looking for the word. Their emperors and the people, and then especially during like the Zhou dynasty and the Qin dynasty, the Qin or Qin dynasty, and the Tang dynasty, like their emperors, correct me if I'm wrong, but were very in touch with their people, and they were very good rulers, which is what made their dynasties so long lasting. Something China didn't do well was the exact opposite of that, is when their dynasties kind of started to fall apart because their emperors weren't as involved and weren't as great at making sure they're more unified, which ultimately led to China breaking up, like splitting up amongst themselves and then coming back together, weaker, and then repeating that cycle like 3 or 4 more times, which ultimately led to their downfall. Well, China's still a country, but like the whole dynasty situation's downfall. Something else China did very well, I believe they were very spiritual and very in touch with themselves, which made them as people stronger and more connected, not only to each other but to themselves, which ultimately led them to have like better health, or better mental health, which is very important. That's something that America, or us, we could learn today, is from that, like making sure to really push the idea of being very in touch with yourselves, whether it's religious or it's just, you know, reflecting on yourself and how you're doing. That is a very important tool, and I'm a very big like pusher, like I don't know, I'm a very big supporter of making sure that you are in tune with yourself and making sure you're checking in on yourself, because I didn't do that a lot of the time when I was younger, and it really took a toll on me. But yeah, even our art too. Honestly, we could implement more of that into our lives as well. I think it's very important to have those creative outlets in our lives as human beings. And the connectedness too is something we could definitely do better as a country, especially America, because we are so divided. And most of it is due to politics, but we are so divided, and it's not healthy for us as a country to be this divided all the time, because it can lead to weakening, and it's not it creates a toxic work environment, but like for the country, like a toxic work environment for politics, I guess, from what I see as a bystander. Module 2 done. Module 3, new module, new hairstyle. I hope this is okay. So for module 3, in like West Africa and Africa in general, something they did really well was their economic system. It was their trading. Their trading did really well. They really worked the economy and made sure to like continue to build instead of just staying stagnant. Definitely could learn from that one, considering we almost just went into default. Like that is don't know that wouldn't be good for anybody, I don't think, to be honest. But yes, they had a very strong trading system. They had very good relations with their trading partners, and they had really good trading routes. which led to a good economy, and we could definitely learn from that, I believe. It's always something to improve on, honestly. The economy in the United States never seems to be quite stable. I feel like ever since I was a kid, it's just been like, oh, recession, oh, housing market crash, oh, this, oh, that. It's like, oh, why? That's not helpful. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on the economy, because I'm not. I don't know if that paused my video or not, but I got a low power mode notification on my phone, so if I just stared at you, that's why. Something that they didn't do as well is they just fought all the time, like, over religion. They're just like getting wars and then just assassinate their people, like their what you call it, their guys, the people who ruled the place, like kings and rulers. That's what I'm trying to say right now. They would assassinate them, and then they would just kill each other over differentiating opinions, which also it's something to learn from them in regards to us is it could happen. I mean, it's not as plausible in modern day because laws and you'd become a felon, but still, it's a thing to watch out for. It feels like we're constantly at each other's throats, like I've mentioned before, in politics, so that's something to learn from, I would say. Can you tell how much effort I put into these hairstyles? It takes hours. I'm just gonna ignore that. Sorry, I cracked myself up. Something that we could definitely not learn from, that ancient Greece could have improved upon, was the incest. I'm just gonna say it. Incest is not good for you. I don't know. I would think that is an obvious thing, but I get the times were different back then. I just personally don't think that we should learn anything from the incest. Moving on. I said that other people were really bad about killing each other all the time. They're worse. Like, they just like had people pitted against each other in the Coliseum for fun, for the royals to watch people just kill each other for fun. You know, just normal Tuesday stuff. It's no biggie. So not that. Also, something we could do better of is, I know that some of the philosophers like ran out of town, but listening to philosophers, mental health is important. Again, I reiterate. Like, it is extremely important, and it's a shame that not more people recognize that, especially in workplaces where we spend majority of our week. You know, like, for people who are full-time, I mean, that's most of what you do. Your hobbies are not most of what you do. Work is. Like, it engulfs so much of your life. 75% or more. Like, it's, you know, you spend so much time there. And a lot of workplaces, well, I don't want to say a lot. There are an alarming amount of workplaces that are not the most friendly or the most relaxing. There are a lot of workplaces that are high stress, may not follow the government or state mandated breaks. Not mine, say that right now, but like those sorts of things. I have worked at jobs like that before. Like, listen to philosophers. Definitely something we could learn is listen to philosophers. But yeah, incest is just, I think we could do without it, to be honest. That's my opinion. But I think it should be the opinion of a lot of people. I'd like to correct myself. People fighting to the death for entertainment was the Romans, which is this one. Not last module. My fault. I look ridiculous. One thing we definitely need to do better than Rome and the ancient Romans, let's not think of ourselves as the whole world and then let our guard down because we're like, oh, we're the whole world. We're untouchable. False. Always. Always false. Never true. Just, you know, that was a big reason, you know. They're like, oh, we're literally the center of the world, and our empire is the greatest thing to ever happen to anybody ever, and we are the epitome of what is perfect. And the rest of the people, and they're like, no, we'll never get attacked. We're literally too amazing. And other people are like, that's baloney. I'm gonna kill you. And then they did, which is not helpful to anybody, I don't think. Another thing that we could learn that I've mentioned previously, economy. They had a really good trading system. They had a really good economy going on. They really figured out a way to work the system. You know, they had little trading posts that prospered. And the ones that prospered more than the others, they built up. You know, that's, I mean, perfect. So, like I explained previously, definitely did that one. But yeah, another thing we should probably steer away from is watching people fight each other until they die. WWE is one thing, you know, they're like wrestling, and I'm sure some of it is somewhat staged, but having people just slaughter each other for other people's entertainment, I think is cruel. Just from my perspective, it's probably not very nice. That being said, maybe let's not adopt that, and let's keep that in the past for stories and stuff. Let's just, you know, it's just, I want to start out by saying that we could learn something from the Mayans, because they wrote what is believed to be one of the first written languages ever. And it contained over 600 individual hieroglyphs, so that's like 600 words. For the first written language, that's crazy. Good, crazy. They created a sundial. They figured out how to track they had a lunar calendar, which was close to what we use now. They like were practicing astronomy. They were crazy good. Like, props to the Mayans. You know what we can learn from them is to study harder, I guess, which is funny coming from me in this class, to be honest. But yeah, specifically Mayans, perfect example. What did they do wrong? I don't know. They died because there was like flu and plague, so maybe we keep medicine around for a little bit longer. That's sarcasm. We should keep medicine around, period. But yeah, they did die to some pretty bad diseases. So maybe we just make sure, maybe we could have healthcare for everybody. I'm just talking. But I just put the idea out there. Maybe healthcare is a human right, but I don't know. What a crazy idea, I guess. Controversial. But yeah, definitely can learn more from the Mayans and like just being innovative. I'd never learned how to say the word correctly. I still say organ like your heart, and Oregon, like the state. The exact same way. And organ like the instrument. Off topic, but yeah, definitely we could learn a lot about just studying, I guess, like being more creative in finding ways to, I don't know, invent new things. And I guess it wouldn't necessarily have to be inventing new things in this current day and age, but maybe improving upon things that were already invented. Because they did that as well, I believe. Yeah, definitely. That was my biggest takeaway in Module 6, to be honest with you. Is just how sheerly impressive the Mayans were. My new idols of any of history would be the Mayans. Their inventions, anyway. I don't know about their other aspects. But yeah. And they're kind of close to Mexico, and I'm Mexican, so that's cool too, I guess. But yeah, I hope this was both entertaining and showed my knowledge of something, because I promise you I learned things. I'm just bad at articulating myself. Thank you for teaching me things. Fist bump.